Today we're getting a little bit controversial because I'm gonna be talking about cozy games that, in my opinion, are overrated. Big disclaimer, I don't think any of these games are inherently bad or that you shouldn't play these games. These are just games that, in my experience, feel like the hype don't really match the actual gameplay. Now, if any of the games on this list happens to be your favorite game, don't be mad at me. Okay? These are just my opinions. This is my opinion! Now, without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna start with the least controversial opinion. I think Oxenfree is overrated. I know this game is one of a lot of cozy gamers' favorite games. I tried to play it on live stream a couple years ago, I want to say, and I had to just drop it. I couldn't finish it. For those who don't know, Oxenfree is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who open a ghostly rift. You play as Alex, and you've just brought your new stepbrother Jonas to an overnight island party gone horribly wrong. Now let me talk about the things that I do like about this game. I love the premise of this game. You are using this supernatural radio to communicate between realms. That in itself I found very fun. I really appreciate cozy games that aren't your regular farming sim, which we'll get into. Love that this game has infiltrated the cozy community because it is more of a horror-ish, darker, cozy game, which are some of my favorite. I also think the art style of this game is absolutely stunning. I love the design, I love the colors of it. Now here's why I think this game is overrated. I think this game is just not accessible enough. There is one mechanic in particular that just ruined the whole gameplay for me, and that is the dialogue mechanic. I didn't know this about this game, but everything kind of happens in real time. So when you're engaging with a dialogue, the dialogue kind of just keeps going without you, even if you don't respond. There's a timed aspect to choosing the dialogue that you're gonna say. And it's actually a game that has different endings, so your dialogue actually does count a lot in the end. For those who don't know, English is not my first language, and I'm also neurodivergent. I found this mechanic so extremely overwhelming. I couldn't wrap my head around the conversation before it was already moved on to something else. I was reading the options for dialogue when my time would run out. It was very, very frustrating for me. I wish there was a way that I could pause between dialogue or turn off the timed mechanic altogether so that I could actually make this game enjoyable. There was so much happening. I wish the developers would drop an update for that. I'm definitely going to give it another try at some point in the future, but for now, I have to say, for those reasons, this game is overrated. Now, moving on to a second overrated game. If you've watched some other of my ranking videos, this might not come as a surprise, but I think Disney Dreamlight Valley is overrated. So I got this game right around the time it was super hyped. You know, around the time where people were getting it and paying for it for early access, and then it was supposedly coming out for free later. Yeah, I was gonna wait for it to come out for free, but then I just bought into the hype and ended up buying the game, and I honestly do regret it. I will say I do get why people like it. As someone who grew up watching Disney movies and have a lot of history and nostalgia around all of these characters and films, it felt really nice to go into the Disney Dreamlight Valley world. It felt like pure escapism in a way, and I did really enjoy that part of it. I do think this game has merit on the fact that it brought a lot of people back into gaming, which I really appreciate. A lot of people who hadn't been gaming for a really long time started cozy gaming because of this game, and I really love that because I love just having more people in the cozy gaming community. It's just the best. However, there's so many things that went wrong with this game. First of all, obviously owned by Disney, which things with Disney right now are a little bit rocky in terms of ethics. But moving on from that, this game just doesn't feel substantial enough for it to be the amount that it was, and also for everything that it went through, if that makes sense. This is an adventure life sim game in which you play as yourself. You find yourself in the magical world of Dreamlight Valley, in which weird magic has infected the characters of Disney. You have to find them and bring them into your valley in order to bring the magic back into the world. There are so many controversies with this game that I feel like makes it a game that I wouldn't feel comfortable supporting necessarily. It all started when the game came out. It came out in early access with the promise that it was gonna be released later in the year for free with microtransactions. However, that never happened. Because the game was supposed to come out for free, it had a very specific flow to the game, and they decided they weren't gonna do that. They still left in the microtransactions. Like, why? In my experience, the gameplay became very repetitive in a way that for me didn't feel satisfying, but more so just grindy and a little bit boring. Another thing that I need to talk about Disney Dreamlight Valley that I think might be an unpopular opinion, but for a game that is made by Disney, the biggest animation company in the world, the graphics of this game are so bad. I just personally don't like the way that this looks, considering how much money Disney would have to put behind a game like this and how much resources. I don't know if you also get those ads from those mobile games of like the mom, she's like in a storm and there's a baby and she also has another child and then she's trying to feed one baby and then the snow falls on top of the other kid. Anyway, it kind of looks like that. And I'm not saying it's ugly necessarily. I think there's a lot of really cute parts about this game. There's a lot of cute outfits and items. I just feel like given the circumstance, it should look a lot better. Again, this is my opinion. I know there's a lot of people who still play this game and still really, really love it, but that's just how I feel. If there's one thing that I don't think is overrated is Ana Luisa, which is the partner of today's video. I've been talking about Ana Luisa for the longest time. If you don't know, they are a jewelry company based in New York. They make beautiful, high quality jewelry pieces that are also affordable and climate neutral. I love working with them because they have just a really wonderful ethos about making jewelry pieces that are not bad for the environment. They sent me this really pretty pearly set that I love. It's perfect for the holidays too. I'm definitely gonna be wearing this for the holidays. I'm gonna probably wear like a cute Christmas sweater and these on. I feel like it's gonna look really pretty. If you would like to get your hands on some Ana Luisa jewelry, they are having big sales at the moment. I will leave a QR code here for you and a link in the description so that you can get presents for your loved ones or for yourself. I'm just saying. This is literally all the jewelry I wear. It's the only jewelry that has actually lasted me. I shower with it, I sweat in it, I sleep in them. So thank you, Ana Luisa, for partnering with me for this portion of the video. All right, back to overrated things. This is probably one of the most controversial opinions I'm gonna have in this video, and I'm a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I think Stardew Valley is overrated. I've had a whole journey with Stardew Valley. I've been trying to get into it for years. I actually recently made a video where I played Stardew Valley for 12 hours straight in order to figure out if I actually liked it. If you want to hear all of my thoughts in depth, you can watch that video up here. I'm also going to link it in the description for you guys. I worked really, really hard on that video. I know that Stardew Valley is the quintessential cozy game. I feel like whenever people are talking about cozy games, they have to talk about Stardew Valley. Whenever someone is trying to get into cozy games, most people will recommend Stardew Valley as the must-have first cozy game. And I really disagree with that. For those who don't know, Stardew Valley is a farming sim that was created by a single developer in 2016. He goes by Concerned Ape. And Stardew Valley has been around alive and strong ever since then. It's gone through so many different updates. It has so many mods now that you can play on the computer and really just customize your experience with it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think Stardew is past its prime. I have a special place in my heart for this game because of what it has done for the cozy community. I feel like this was one of the first cozy games that like blew up in the gaming industry. All kinds of gamers were playing it, and it also welcomed a lot of people who didn't think they liked gaming into the gaming space. I think this game deserves all the accolades. Stardew Valley has inspired so many other games that we know and love now. This was definitely the predecessor to kind of the cozy gaming community as a whole, and I'm not here to try and disrespect Stardew Valley because I do like the game, and I do think that it's a very important game for like the history of gaming as a whole and also the history of the gaming community. Here's when it gets tough. I think Stardew Valley is a hard game to get into in general. I've talked about this with a lot of people in my community who didn't play Stardew back when it came out and only try to get into it now as an adult. It's just not an easy game to get into. Stardew Valley did what it had to do. I think it's a game that it's never gonna go away, and I hope it never goes away. But I think when we're talking about cozy games to play right now, we have to stop recommending Stardew Valley for beginner gamers or people who don't have nostalgia for it. I'm sorry. There are games who have been admittedly inspired by Stardew that have improved upon the formula of Stardew, and I think that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. That just kind of happens with any styles of games in any genre in the gaming industry. Especially if you're a beginner, there are a lot of other better farming sims out there that you can start with. Namely, Fields of Mystria, which I have been playing and really loving. I think the big downfall of Stardew is the lack of direction. I know that there's a lot of mods that you can use in order to better your quality of life in Stardew, but I think if you need a mod to be able to enjoy a game, that says a lot about the game itself. I think that a game needs to be strong on its own without mods. For better or for worse, games now have really mastered the ability to create a tutorial that feels seamless to the gameplay, and Stardew did not do that. And I think the lack of direction can feel really overwhelming for people who are playing a game like this for the first time. I will say also, one big part of why this game feels so overwhelming for so many people is the Stardew community. There are so many people who have so many years of playing this game under their belt that make it really hard for new people to get into the game, because obviously so many people have so much knowledge about it that it almost feels like there's only one right way to play the game. That to me felt really hard because I was like, there's so much that I don't know. I feel like I'm missing things, and people always tell me to have this crop at the beginning of the game, this and that, and I don't even know where to find anything, and I can't even remember everyone's names. Last but not least about Stardew, this is something that I tried not to mention in my video about Stardew because I was trying to focus more so on the gameplay. I feel like Stardew is not that inclusive, even though it's one of the first games where you were able to romance regardless of gender. I think the matter of pronouns makes me side-eye Concerned Ape a little bit. There have been so many petitions for Concerned Ape to include different pronouns in Stardew Valley, and he simply hasn't. Which at this point, with a game that is almost 10 years old, it makes me a little bit worried. At this point, it just feels like a choice to omit having different pronouns in your game rather than, oops, I forgot. You know, like I can understand you put a game out in 2016, maybe the conversation of pronouns wasn't as loud as it is today, but it is today, and you're still making upgrades. There are countless amounts of mods that have figured out how to add pronouns to your game, but you still haven't added it to the base game. I don't know, man. That just feels sus to me. So those are all the reasons why I think the game is a little bit overrated. There's always going to be the OG game of a certain genre, but as time goes on, we don't always tell people to play the OG because it's the OG and you have to play that one. You know, I think at some point we just go like, oh, this is the best version of this kinds of game, so you should play that one. Like, I think it would be weird to tell you to play the very first Prince of Persia game so that you could get the actual true experience. There are better games out there now, you know? Last but not least, this is not a game, but rather a whole genre as a whole. I think farming sims are overrated in the cozy gaming community. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good farming sim, especially if the mechanics are hitting the brain the right way. Big fan of Stardew Valley, Fields of Mystria, you name it. But it comes to a point where I think there's very little that we haven't done already. There are so many different types out there that I'm sorry, I don't think we need more farming sims. Unless you have a really strong premise and story and make it really wacky and different, I am most likely not going to try your farming sim. And I say that with an asterisk, because there's a lot of farming sims out there that look really cool and I feel really drawn to. But then it's happened so many times to me that I give them a try and they just don't live up to my expectations, unfortunately. And this happens with every genre of games. I think especially because cozy gaming has become such a big part of the gaming industry now. We've become like this recognized sub-community of the gaming community as a whole. So many developers have been trying to profit off of the cozy gamer, and the first thing that they think about is farming sims. I feel like we've had a crazy influx of farming sims in the last year, and it's become really hard to tell what is a money grab, what is an actual good game, what is just a carbon copy of the last game, what is something that the developers were actually passionate about to make. This is a calling for new and old developers. Give us something else. We are so happy to try your games. Give us something original. The thing that is exciting me the most about cozy games in 2025 going into 2026 is the broad variety of genres that we've been getting. I really love seeing developers, especially bigger developers, realizing that they can make literally any kind of game that is targeted to the more casual gamer. I love that we've been getting platformers, adventure games, even combat games that have been made more accessible for people who have all kinds of gaming abilities and preferences, namely Slime Heroes, which I'll never stop talking about. That game is so underrated. I think it's time we move on. And if you're a gamer who only likes farming sims, I'm not here to yak your yum. Whatever makes you feel cozy, whatever makes you feel happy, those are the games that you should be playing. So this is just my personal opinion. However, I will say I do have a lot of fun lists of cozy games that don't include farming sims. So if you're looking to maybe venture out into a little bit something different, the recommendations are out there, I'm just saying. And those are all the overrated games that I wanted to talk about today. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I love when we have like full-on conversations about our thoughts. It is my favorite part about posting videos. So please be kind to me. I actually posted a story on my Instagram yesterday where I asked you guys what you thought the most overrated cozy games were, and here are your answers. The tea was piping hot. I did not expect some of your answers, but we listen and we don't judge. But generally, it was really, really interesting to hear your thoughts. So if you ever want to participate in these videos, make sure to follow me on Instagram, because that's usually where I will be posting polls and questions and all of that. So make sure to be following me on there. I also post a bunch of silly gaming related videos there as well if you're interested. But that is all. Please make sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe. Know that when you watch a channel a lot, YouTube just starts recommending it to you, and you might be like 10 videos deep into a channel and realize you never subscribed. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and it helps me so much. Thank you again, Ana Luisa, for partnering with me in this video. And most importantly, remember to take care of yourself, have some rest, have some water, and I will see you in the next video.